Abigail Marquez, General Manager for the City of Los Angeles Community Investment for Families Department. Welcome to Pathways to Prosperity, a show highlighting our department's anti-poverty and homelessness prevention programs. We're excited to begin the new year with today's show, which will highlight our free tax prep LA program, a collaborative effort designed to provide families with tax preparation services to help them claim the credits and refunds they earned. In today's episode, we'll help Angelenos learn about these resources and help them put money back in their pockets. I'm pleased to be joined by three experts who I consider great friends, and I'm so excited to have you join us today, who are partnering with both the city and the county to increase awareness of these resources. Please welcome Audrey Casillas, Director of Community Economic Development for Koreatown Youth and Community Center, Sheila Thomas, the Director of Family Services at Watts Labor Community Action Committee, and last but not least, Audrey Calvillo, Program Director at El Centro de Ayuda Family Source Center. Thank you all for joining me today. So this is really an opportunity to highlight the great work that you're doing. You all are part of our Family Source system, which is really exciting that now we have funding for 20 Family Source centers who, during the tax season, all become certified tax sites that help families claim these really valuable resources. So I'm going to start with you, Audrey. And I'm going to start with just tell us a little bit more about how the Free Tax Prep LA campaign was initiated and the gap that we were trying to respond to.
Yeah, in 2014, the city and the county of Los Angeles joined forces to start Free Tax Prep LA. This campaign was not only to encourage families to file, but also to know about the tax credits that are available. Earned income tax credit, child tax credit. For example, this is up to $10,000 in credits that our families can benefit from. Through the Family Source Center system, we were able to activate over 20 VITA sites this year, among other agencies who will be supporting us in outreach, education, and direct assistance.
Yeah. I mean, this is a very personal program for me. I think most of you know that I started my city career as the EITC coordinator for the city 20 years ago. So over the last 20 years, I've seen firsthand how this program directly impacts the individuals that we're working with. I've seen people come into our centers and they leave with a $10,000 refund. They leave with a $15,000 refund because it's also retroactive. People can claim these credits. You know, oftentimes people are not reminded that if they have money that they haven't claimed, it's available to them even beyond the traditional tax season period. So talk about some of the reasons why people don't file. I think that's important to lift up as well. So I'll start with you.
Yeah, I'd love to share that. It's really important that taxpayers know that regardless of if you're required to file, we've all heard of, I make too little to file. I'm below this filing threshold. I don't need to file. Those are the folks who are most likely eligible for that free money, earned income tax credit, child tax credit. Other reasons could be that they are undocumented. There are opportunities for undocumented wage earners to file and even claim tax credits. There are things like child tax credit, California earned income tax credit, young child tax credit, they're eligible. Another situation where folks may not file is when they earn cash. A lot of folks don't think that they are required or that it's earnings under the table. They are required to file and they may be eligible for these credits as well. So we're seeing that a lot of Angelenos fall into that bucket. And so Free Tax Prep LA is out there to educate, inform, get everyone up to date and just ready to file and have a place to go so that they don't have to pay and access this money for free.
Yeah, I think that's great. Sheila and Audrey, I invite you to also share just the perspective that you have in helping families through this program as well.
Thanks, Abby. So with WLCAC, we have 2 sites, and we have a pretty extensive outreach operation where we actually go out into the community and bring awareness to the credits. And as Audrey was saying, that there's a lot of folks that are out there that don't think that they qualify or that they make enough money to be able to file for their taxes. And it's always interesting when we get a family or an individual that didn't think that they qualified, and they come in and we actually help them with their filing and set them up for additional savings, and teach money management to them. It's always gratifying when you have those big success stories from doing the outreach, getting out there and just educating folks, instead of going to some of these paid places that get your taxes filed.
I think that's really important. There are a number of establishments, especially during the tax season, that do charge, and sometimes what a person may think is a reasonable fee, it's still anywhere from $150 to $200 that they're paying that they can save, especially for a low-income family. And the families that we're working with on average are making $15,000 to $20,000. And those are the families that we want to target and connect to these very valuable tax credits. So Lori, talk about the other financial empowerment services that we make available through the Family Source system, because I think what's really incredible about the work that we do as a system is that it's not just connecting people to the earned income tax credit or the child tax credit, but it's helping them with a number of other financial empowerment services.
Thanks, Abby. Like my colleagues here shared, at our Centro de Ayuda, our Family Source Center, one of our biggest programs is our Financial Empowerment Services program. So, for example, if someone comes in and luckily they get their $10,000 refund, discussing, okay, what are your plans for your refund? Do you need some guidance or some coaching to, whether it's open a bank account, a savings account, or the college account for your children to save for the future? One of our other programs is our Emergency Match Savings program. And this is one of my favorite programs. It is aimed at really supporting families to, when they commit to our financial coaching curriculum, but through that they go over budgeting, savings, credit, loans, everything under the sun in regards to financial coaching. And with the commitment that on a monthly basis they are saving, and their goals may fluctuate depending on what they're able to do. But at the end of the 6 months, we're able to match them up to $1,500. And the efforts that they're building an emergency savings, but also it's been serving as a homeless prevention initiative. A lot of our families who finished the program during COVID, during the lockdown, said that because of this program, it was what was able to keep them housed.
That's really powerful. And I know that at KYCC, you also have a number of other savings programs, and I invite you to highlight those as well, Audrey.
Right. So at Koreatown Youth and Community Center, we have over 15 years providing a tax time savings account. So it's a really easy to understand, easy to access program. And it aligns with the national statistic that 45% of Americans wouldn't have $500 in an emergency. So we developed tax time savings so families can save $400 from their refund, and KYCC will give them $100. The $400 tends to be like an easy, low bar, doable threshold where families can still enjoy their refund, but also have a little bit of a nest egg should they have an emergency.
Yeah, and I think, Laura, you brought up a very important point that we've also been talking a lot about within the system, and it's related to homelessness prevention. And I think, again, because we serve families who are making $15,000, $20,000, oftentimes they can be one emergency financial situation away from spiraling into a homeless situation. And so there's a lot of research too, not just that the average American or the average person doesn't have a $500 savings, but there's a new research out there that is talking about how if people would have $500 at minimum in the state of California with the high cost of living, it would prevent them from becoming homeless. So I think it's such a valuable way to engage people during this tax time to create that savings plan for them as well. So let's talk about some of the new tax credits. What should people be paying attention to this tax season as they're filing? All of our sites will start opening up this weekend. The last weekend of January, I should say, is when everyone becomes available as a tax site, at least within our network, and we run until really not just through April, we go extended. So let's talk about that, your hours of operation. What can people expect? Do they need to make an appointment to come and get services at your sites?
So I'll share that the new credits or what's available this year. Like I mentioned earlier, federal earned income tax credit, it's close to $7,500 this year. So it's a lot of money is available. The amount of the credit depends on how much you earned and if you have children. So higher amounts for families with multiple children. There is the child tax credit that's worth up to $2,000 per child. And with the state of California, I mentioned earlier, there's the California EITC, and there's the young child tax credit, and there's also the foster youth tax credit. So former foster youth can benefit as well, claiming over $1,000. So there's something for everyone. And, I think at our site, we're just asking folks to have a plan on how they're going to file, collect your documents now, make your appointment now, because you don't want to come up to April or some kind of filing deadline. You don't know where you're going to go. You have to go to a paper pair. Under Free Tax Prep LA and our website, freetaxprepla.org, you can find over 100 locations, and then all of the 20 family source centers are listed. So you can find their phone number or their online booking page and set yourself up for that appointment. So just as a reminder, I think our tip is always just have a plan of what you're going to do, because tax season is just about 10 weeks long, and it'll, just like everything else, we're going to put it off. So just figure out a plan and, make sure you file on time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sheila?
So at our site, yes, you do need to set an appointment. You have to make sure that you have your documents, make sure you bring your Social Security card in for you and whoever else is going to be listed on your taxes. And it's a pretty easy process. You just come on in and we'll do whatever we can to make sure that we get you the most out of your return.
Yep, that's great. And then, of course, that they have an ITIN, which is, if we can talk about that a little bit more, because I think it's important to share with the audience that people who are in the process of becoming legal permanent residents can also seek this service. Lori, do you want to talk about that a little bit more?
Yes, of course. Thanks. So similar to Audrey and Sheila, we also are by appointment only. We do ask that people bring their Social Security or their ITIN if they're using their ITIN to file. An ITIN is an individual tax ID number that people who are not currently documented or in the process of becoming permanent residents, they use as a means to file their taxes. Some of our clients do find this beneficial as they're applying for naturalization. They could illustrate how many years they've been tax-paying individuals in the community. Our agency is a CAA agency, so we are certified to help people apply for an ITIN, renew their ITIN, and use their ITIN to file as well. It is by appointment. We do our best as well to make it as easy as possible. Just give us a call. We are open on some Saturdays, about 2 Saturdays a month, and 2 Fridays a month, just for VITA. And as far as the ITINs, we're very flexible. If someone, when they do call, shares that they would like to apply for an ITIN, we make sure to walk them through the process of what documents we will be needing. And we also provide them, if they come in person, a written paper to just highlight and review everything to make sure it's as easy as possible for people.
And if someone does not have an ITIN, can they apply for the ITIN and also submit their tax return the same year?
Yes.
I think that's great. I didn't know that. That's great. Well, I know that, when we launched the Free Tax Prep LA campaign, we did it because we felt that, again, Angelenos were not aware we're leaving anywhere. I think research continues to show that we're leaving roughly $300 million unclaimed, maybe even higher than that in the region. These are dollars that people have earned that they're not claiming. And if you think about how that can even help our local economy, because all that money comes back in helping them address their basic needs, purchase goods and services, gas, transportation, those kinds of things. But what other resources are available? I know that at the website, we'll talk about the website you already shared at freetaxprepla.com.org, but the website is available and it has a wealth of information. I know that in the past, people were able to also file their taxes on their own, and there was a tutorial service. Is that still available? Let's walk people through what other resources are available.
Right, Abigail, just as you mentioned, our website also has free software for folks making up to $79,000. So if you feel great, you feel like you want to do this at your own pace and prepare your own return, you'll be able to file free federal and state, so you'll access all your credits. and claim all your money at no cost. And it's on freetaxprepla.org. I also mentioned earlier that there's a directory of all the locations. So if you want to pick something that's close to your home or maybe your school or your work, you'll be able to see that map and navigate all of the tax centers. And the website also has plenty of information about EITC, CalEITC. So if you want to read in detail, there's even a link to the calculator. You'll be able to put in your income, your filing status, and you'll get an estimate of what types of credits you'll be getting. So you can access that tool and have an idea before you file your taxes.
Mm-hmm. I think that's great. Thank you. Anything else that you would like to share about this wonderful program?
I personally, I love this program. Just full circle, as a struggling college student, getting my first W-2, not knowing what do I do with this, I found a VITA site, a free tax prep LA site, and my experience was just great. They walked me through it, they explained everything, and best of all, it was free. So full circle to being on the other side, making sure that we make it as available, that we share it as far and loud as we can for people who, may not know what steps to take or how to go about it, and to have, someone to walk through the process, because it could be overwhelming sometimes.
I feel like, we have to continue to conduct outreach in our communities to bring awareness to those who have not taken advantage of the credits and the opportunities to, get the money back that they are entitled to. And that's going to take, a collaboration of all of us to be able to get that message out, to ensure that, folks put that money back, not only into our communities, but into themselves, that would help keep them from being, homeless, or being able to purchase medications that they may need to, and to, like we were saying about the $500 in savings, or folks that don't have at least $500 if an emergency does happen. That's an opportunity for them to secure additional funding, and they can do it. Doesn't matter if they're, have a mom and pop at home business where they're getting cash under the table or whatever they think that they don't qualify for. If they're open enough to hear the message and get the information about the free tax prep credits, services, and the other credits that they may be entitled to, I think that they would be really happy to know that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
I think also just the centers itself, they're able to get you this cash and then have that structure or that follow-up if you want coaching, if you want to look at your credit, you want to manage your side gig and turn that into a business. There's a lot of services at these tax centers that go for the entire year. And it's not just that one check, but it's really just support and what are your goals? What do you want to do with this money? What do you want for your children? And it can really transform your life. So we welcome, clients to just check it out, try it out. It's a no pressure environment. And also to take advantage of everything else that's going on at the center.
That's right, because I think what is really unique is that, again, in addition to all the financial empowerment services, we can connect individuals and families to our mental health services, our food distribution program, our case management program. If they have young children, they can enroll in our tutoring program. So it's really a whole suite of services that we make available. Oftentimes, this is the first time we get to meet an individual because they hear about this campaign. They come into, they don't know that a Family Source Center exists or what we are, and then you really provide the opportunity to introduce them to all of our other services. I think the other thing I want to highlight is that all of the staff that you have at your centers are certified. I think a lot of people, when they hear something is free, they're skeptical. They don't think that it's going to be a quality service. But what we've seen, again, time and time again over the years, is that we are all certified by the IRS. You can't operate a site without having the IRS certify you as a volunteer income tax assistance site. And so there's a whole training that went into preparing the tax preparers that are at your site to look for, again, to make sure that we're looking for the availability of these tax credits for the families that we're working with, which I think is really important. Oftentimes when you go to a pay preparer, they're not as intentional about making sure that they're actively looking for what you're eligible for as a individual or family. So I think that's really important as well. So I'm very biased. I think this program is so impactful, and it's not just me being biased. I mean, there's so much research behind the earned income tax credit on the national level. It is still considered one of the most, if not the most effective anti-poverty programs and tools that we have in our country. We saw when the Biden administration issued the child tax credit during the pandemic through an automatic disbursement, we saw child poverty drop in half in this country, which we've never seen before. So we're excited about the new bipartisan effort that is currently being considered at the federal level to reinstitute the child tax credit at a smaller scale than what we saw, but we really do think that there is so much potential to really alleviate poverty through more infusion of these federal tax credits, state tax credits. Again, this is money people have earned. I think that's important to also emphasize. People are working. They either worked maybe half of the year. They still may be eligible. Again, people that sometimes think, I didn't work the full 12 months out of the year. I'm not going to be eligible for anything, are missing out on some potential refund that we want to make sure that they claim. So I can't thank you enough for all the great work that you do, and really appreciate the work of the Family Source system as a whole. Collectively, I'm really proud. Audrey and I started this, I don't know how many years ago. And since the launch of this program, we have reached, close to 100,000 people, and have brought in $87 million back into the pockets of the people that we've worked with through this effort. So that's thanks to all of you and your great work. So thank you for all the work that you do to help our families. And so with that, I will end. Again, I wish you the very best this upcoming tax season. I'm excited to hear the continued success of this program. I also want to thank the audience for staying engaged and for helping to raise awareness of the existing resources that can help families gain greater financial stability. For more information about this program, please visit www.freetaxprepla.com for a list of all tax sites in the city and the county. You can also find the nearest Family Source Center at our website, laforfamilies.org. Thank you, and have a prosperous new year.